Hi, I'm Anastasia Chatzka, a fashion designer with over 20 years of experience and a sewing educator. And I'm really excited you're here to share another sewing adventure with me today. Welcome to Sew Anastasia, and today I'm going to show you how to put a patch pocket on the inside of a jacket. You can use this technique to put a patch pocket on just about anything that's flat that doesn't have a bunch of layers to it. So you could put an extra patch pocket on your button-up shirt. You could put one on your pant leg. You could put one on the bottom of your skirt, on the front of your dress, on the front of an apron. You could put a patch pocket just about anywhere. So follow along and I'm going to show you how to make a patch pocket. You're probably wondering, what is a patch pocket? Well, a patch pocket is a piece of fabric that's on the outside of a garment and it's sewn down on 3 sides and 1 side is left open to put all your goodies into. If you're not already a subscriber to Sew Anastasia, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when all the new awesome videos come out. Also, I'm on my way to 100,000 subscribers and I need all the love and support I can get, so make sure you like this video and share it with your friends and family. I would appreciate it so much. Also, I'm now teaching virtual sewing classes, so you can choose any project you like, book your time with me, and I will help you from my design studio to yours. Or if you're in Chicago, you can totally come into my design studio and take a class with me here. Information for all of that is going to be down below, or visit sewanastasia.com. Supplies for this project are going to be as follows. You're going to need a clear ruler of sorts. You're also going to need your rotary cutter or some scissors. You're going to need your pins so we can pin down this pocket. You're going to need some matching thread. Of course, we're working in pink. You're going to need some chalk, and you're going to need a piece of fabric for your patch pocket. Now, the size of fabric is really going to depend on how big your pocket is. So just make sure your piece of fabric is actually bigger than your pocket. The pocket I'm going to create is going to be 6 by 8, but you can make your pocket any size you want. You can actually make it any shape you want. You'll notice most commonly a patch pocket on the back of your jeans, and they generally have a little point at the tip, right? But I'll be making my pocket a rectangle, so no point at the bottom. My pocket's gonna be 6 by 8, but that does not mean my piece of fabric I'm gonna cut out is going to be 6 by 8. I need to leave room for seam allowances. So we need to leave 1/2 inch on the side, 1/2 inch on the bottom, and 1 1/4 on the top. So add those seam allowances to any shape that you're creating. These seam allowances are going to make my rectangle 7 by 9 1/4 inches tall. I have my fabric laid out. I'm gonna be drawing on the wrong side of the fabric. The first thing I wanna do is draw a 90-degree angle. Now I have my 90-degree angle for my first corner. Now what I want to do is measure up 9 1/4 inches, which is going to be right here. I'm going to put a little mark, and I'm going to go ahead and turn my ruler and line up the edge of the ruler with that previous line that's there. So that way our corners end up nice with 90-degree angles. Okay, so I have a line going across, which is going to be the top of my pocket, and I need that one to be 8 inches wide. So let's go ahead and put a mark at 8 inches. Now I can turn my ruler again, and we can come all the way down the fabric. Make sure everything's lined up. Don't want a crooked pocket. Okay. So now we have one last step, and that's just gonna be connecting the line down here. And there we go. We have a pocket that is 8 inches wide and 9 1/4 inches tall. Now we can go ahead and cut it out. You can use your scissors or you can use a rotary cutter. I'll be using my rotary cutter. I'm gonna be going over those chalk lines that I just put down. Now we have one awesome rectangle that we're gonna turn into a patch pocket. The next step is going to be ironing under the sides, and I've got some tricks to make your corners look perfect. The first thing I'm gonna do is fold down the side that's going to be the top of my pocket. So first, I'm going to iron it 1/4 of an inch down. after you have it ironed under 1/4, you're gonna go ahead and fold it 1 inch. Next, we're gonna iron some creases so we can create beautiful mitered corners on the ends of our pocket at the bottom. A mitered corner is a great way to finish a right angle because you're not gonna have any overlapping fabric that wants to pop out of the other end. We're gonna take it and fold it almost to the inside, creating a diagonal little seam at your corner. It's almost like magic. Now we're gonna iron our edges up 1/2 inch because that's what we left for our seam allowance. I'm gonna turn it, we're gonna iron the other side up 1/2 inch. So now you can see the creases in here from folding each side in 1/2 inch. Now what we're gonna do is go ahead and take the corner and we're going to just fold it right where the point is, right where these 2 1/2 inch marks intersect. So there's this point right here, and we're gonna go ahead and just fold that in. Now you're gonna iron again. Okay, so what we've just created is a line that we're going to be following when we're sewing later. So make sure you have this nice flat edge right here. Now we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. Now we're over at the sewing machine, and today I'm going to be using the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 2. You can use any sewing machine that has a straight stitch though. Now what we're gonna do is take our fold at the 1 inch that we created here and fold it back on itself. So now we're placing right sides together. So when you fold this down, you wanna make sure that your 1/4 inch that we folded is still face up because we want this to be a nice finished edge when we flip it right side out. So go ahead and pin this side down. Okay. So now we have it folded at that inch and we still have that 1/4 inch folded up. You can see my 1/2 inch crease here from ironing. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew, but I'm only sewing on this 1 inch flat. So I'm going to be sewing from here to here. That's it. Make sure you're not sewing on the rest of your pocket. Okay, so we're gonna sew a 1/2 inch. And I'm just starting at the bottom of that 1/4 inch fold. Make sure you back stitch. Your stitch should look something like this. Now we're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. Now that we have both of our sides sewn up, what we need to do is clip our corners. So that way when we flip it right side out, it's going to be nice and smooth at the point. So let's go ahead and clip about 1/8 of an inch away from the very top of our stitch, and I'm just gonna angle it out to the bottom. So just like that. Let's do it to our other side here as well. So just angle up towards the stitch at that fold and clip really close to it, but not on it. You wanna stay at least 1/8 of an inch away. Now we're going to take our flap and flip it right side out. You wanna make sure you go ahead and poke out your corners. And now you can see on the inside of our pocket, we have these nice finished edges here, our points. And we have this 1/4 inch flap here still. So what we need to do is tuck that under and go ahead and pin it down. Now that we have our flap pinned down, we want to go ahead and give it an edge stitch. So we want to stitch on the very edge. And this is going to give us a nice clean finish to the top of our pocket. So we'll end up with a stitch visible on the outside of the top of our pocket. So we're gonna go ahead and stitch on the edge 1/8 of an inch away. Make sure you back stitch. On this machine, I like to use the A foot, and I like to line up the edge of my fabric with the inner right angle. The inside of the top of your pocket should look like this with the edge stitch. And on the outside, you should just have a nice stitch along the top about 1 inch down. Next up, we are going to sew the mitered corners. So all those fancy little folds you put in with the iron are gonna get put to use right now. What we need to do is take this diagonal fold and fold our fabric right sides together and make sure our edges are nice and lined up. And now what we're gonna do is just sew on that fold right there. So we're gonna sew down that line that we have there from ironing. Make sure you back stitch and cut. So now I have the stitch right where the crease was that we made with the iron. So you can see this nice diagonal stitch right here on the corner. We want to go ahead and chop off this extra little point of fabric, leave about 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once you chop that off, we can take it and flip it right side out, and you can see what happens. So we flip it right side out, and now we have a nice, beautiful point. You're not gonna have anything overlapping or popping out of your corners. All we need to do is go ahead and iron that down, and we're ready to sew it on the jacket. Now that we have one beautiful, magical mitered corner, go ahead and give your other side of the pocket a mitered corner as well. Now we have all of the edges and the corners finished, and we are ready to sew it onto the jacket lining, or at least I'm sewing mine on a jacket lining. You could be sewing yours anywhere. I have my lining removed from my coat and I have it laid out flat on the table. I have my pocket positioned where I would like it, and now we're going to pin it down. If you're doing this on a coat with a lining, make sure you're removing the lining, because you don't want to sew down your patch pocket without removing the lining, because you'll see the stitches on the outside of your coat. Whoops. We want to go ahead and pin the 3 edges of our pocket. You can leave open the opening because we do not want to sew that shut. Now that we have all 3 edges pinned, we need to go ahead and sew 1/8 of an inch from the edge so we can stitch down our pocket. You could also do another stitch 1/4 inch away from the edge if you would like your pocket to be extra durable. First, I'm going to create an edge stitch. Make sure you back stitch at the beginning. When you get to the corner, make sure your needle is in your fabric before you lift up and turn. We did it! We now have a patch pocket. So cool! Now I can finish the rest of my jacket because I have a pocket on the inside of my jacket lining. I love that this pocket is big enough to fit my phone, put my hand in it, keep my little notebook in it, and it's so silky and smooth in the satin. Remember, if you want, you can also add a decorative stitch all the way around your pocket, or you could go ahead and do a top stitch 1/4 inch away from your edge. You always have some more options for creating your design and making it original. You could also put a buttonhole here and a button on the underside and have your pocket button shut. Or you could even do some Velcro or a snap. The possibilities are endless with patch pockets. You can customize it to your liking and give it your own flair. Thanks so much for watching Sew Anastasia today. If you have any questions about patch pockets, make sure you leave it down below in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I would love to know what you thought of the video, and I would love to see your patch pockets. So make sure you send me photos of your patch pockets or tag me at Sew Anastasia, and I will reshare them on my Instagram or Facebook. I love keeping everybody inspired and sharing everyone's projects, and I cannot wait to see yours. As always, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Sew Anastasia and Anastasia Chatzka. I also have Pinterest and Twitter and Facebook and all those great social media sites, and TikTok as well. So make sure you stay connected. I'm also teaching virtual sewing lessons, so if you need help with any of your projects, make sure you sign up. We'll book some time together and I will help you from my design studio to yours. Or if you're in Chicago or want to come out to Chicago, you can totally take my in-person sewing classes. Information for everything is going to be down below, or you can visit sewanastasia.com. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!